Breaking news right now as Fox News is confirming that White House communications director and very close Trump advisor Hope Hicks is resigning. In a statement, she said that she has achieved everything that she set out to achieve in this position. We will see. I'm sure there will be a lot of speculation about this change, but for now we are confirming that Hope Hicks is resigning as communications director.
It's after, what was it, 9 hours she spent testifying before Congress? I think it was 9 hours testifying yesterday. Well, here now to react is Congressman Andy Biggs from Arizona. He's a member of the Judiciary Committee and the Freedom Caucus. Sorry to catch you flat-footed on this. I'm sure you've just heard the news as we did. What do you think?
Well, I think it makes me wonder what actually was testified to yesterday in that hearing, number one. Number two, I wish her best of luck. I think she did a good job. And number three, I would say that kind of speaks to the crucible that this Washington, this scene is. I mean, it's been so divisive, so vitriolic. I understand why people want to leave, actually.
Well, particularly when there's so much time diverted from things that need our attention and need the attention of the folks inside the Congress. I mean, you guys have a terrible reputation. Your approval rate is at single digits, and I mean, it's because of these 9-hour committee meetings with somebody like Hope Hicks, I think, that people don't have that much faith in Congress.
Well, and I don't blame them, actually, because we promise so much and deliver so little. I mean, the bicameral system between the Senate and the House, we're always fighting there. Then the two-party system has left each other very divided. America itself is divided on which direction we're going to take long-term, whether you're going to go to the left with the Dems, going to stay to the right with Republicans. I mean, these are issues that these things subsume the issues, actually, sometimes. And so it can be very frustrating. And so I understand exactly, in some respects, why someone like Hope Hicks, who's done a great job, would want to leave.
Does this mean that General Kelly's position is safe? Because, of course, a lot of the speculation around questions about who knew what about other people in the administration. I mean, the fact that she's leaving kind of lets General Kelly off the hook for certain things, no?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how it impacts General Kelly, because I think General Kelly is really tightened up the ship there, and I think that's what President Trump wanted. And so I'm not sure that Hope Hicks was atypical of being able to work in that type of system. So I'm not sure what the long-term impact on General Kelly is.
All right, we're just getting comments from the president himself saying, and I'm quoting now, Hope is outstanding and has done great work for the last 3 years. She is as smart and thoughtful as they come, a truly great person. I will miss having her by my side, but when she approached me about pursuing other opportunities, I totally understood. To which you say?
I say I understand. I agree with everything he said.
All right.
He's right.
I got to ask you one final question, if you don't mind, about the investigations that are going on vis-a-vis Russia, et cetera. A lot of people are saying that if you're going to be investigating Russian collusion, you should look at Russian collusion between the Hillary campaign and what happened with the Trump dossier, which clearly got a lot of information from Russia. And, of course, they had their supporters inside the FBI, the DOJ, and now we're finding out the State Department. There's no indication that Mr. Mueller is investigating that aspect of Russian collusion. Should he be? And if he's not, who should be?
Well, first of all, he should be, because he was supposed to look into Russian interference into our election, and this is a direct derivative of that. So he should be. But if he's not going to, the Inspector General is all the information that we've, not all of it, but a significant amount of the information that we received has come from the Inspector General. So I have confidence in him. But I also believe that this finally comes back to the Attorney General, and I think that he's got the prosecutorial power. I've been asking him for months to investigate this fully. He told me in a Judiciary Committee hearing if he saw anomalies in the investigation that he would recommence the investigation. So I'm hoping that he will do that.
Congressman Andy Biggs, thank you. We had all that breaking news.
Thanks.
You handled it very well. I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.